All right. I mean, it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. This one is just too bizarre. Easter is falling on April the 1st, April Fool's Day. It's some kind of Mandela effect of some kind because now I have been on this earth 54 years. I'll be 55 this October. And they're saying on the news, oh, it's happened before. It's happened. Bullshit. It has never, ever been on it. Easter has always been in the middle of April, somewhere in the middle. Now, it moves around, yeah, but it's always been in the middle of April. No. Trust me when I tell you that if Easter had fallen on April Fool's Day, I'd remember that shit because I'd be making fun of your ugly ass. Okay? All right? So, no, it has never fallen on April the 1st. That's a bold-faced lie. That's a bold-faced lie. They're trying to cover for this shit.
It is intended for the entertainment and instruction of broad-minded adults only, and should not be played to or sold to minors under any circumstances whatsoever. Thank you.
Broadcasting from the floating pie pan in the sky at Groom Lake Analog Recordings. Welcome to Tarantula's Dream TV. Now here's your host, Samba.
Achi Machi, here we go. It's the final episode of Tarantula's Dream TV. I am your host,
Samba.
There we go. Hey, let's hear the claps from the imaginary studio audience. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the very final episode, or I'm calling it the season finale of Tarantula's Dream TV over here on Instagram. Hint, maybe we'll be coming back some other time on a different platform. I think I'm just done with the Instagram thing, so that's that. But thank you all for tuning in to the final episode. Phone number for the show is 520-704-7820. Tonight we're getting into the Mandela Effect and alternate realities, all that good stuff. Open lines all night as well. In fact, I'm going to just pop this little turd-linger right here. Boom, there we go. Open lines all night long if you want to chat with old Samba over here. And I do have a special guest I'm going to bring on the line in just a few minutes. But before I do that, let's dive into one last round of headlines. One last round of headlines over here. This one was the big one, ladies and gentlemen, people of all ages, ladies, gentlemen, and everything outside of that. Derek Chauvin guilty of murder in George Floyd's death. Okay, I'm only going to do this once. There we go. Derek Chauvin was found guilty on all counts Tuesday for causing George Floyd's death, a verdict that could send the disgraced former Minneapolis police officer to prison for the rest of his life. His eyes darted left and right over his light blue surgical mask as Judge Peter Cahill read the jury's verdict, but he betrayed little else in the way of emotion. Chauvin, who was convicted of second and third degree murder as well as second degree manslaughter, stood up quickly after the judge ordered his bail revoked and compliantly, oh man, I'm tongue-tied, placed his hands to be handcuffed before he was led out of the courtroom. He faces up to 75 years in prison when he returns for sentencing in 8 weeks. However, under Minnesota law, the sentences are likely to run concurrently, meaning Chauvin would serve no more than 40 years in prison. All right. Conviction on the top count of second-degree murder means the 12 jurors unanimously agreed that Chauvin caused Floyd's death during the commission of a felony assault. The jury rejected the defense claim that there might have been other medical reasons Floyd died, saying Chauvin killed him, even if unintentionally, by kneeling on his neck for more than 9 minutes. So there you go. The saga is still not over. This isn't justice, but it's a start. So there you go. We'll check back in 8 weeks. Well, I'll check in personally. I guess you won't really check in on the show because it's not going to be on the air, but we'll keep going. And the second headline is from a website that I don't particularly want anyone to go to because it's just a hive of crap. But the Washington Examiner, I got this headline because it was a very interesting one. Scientists successfully create human-monkey hybrid, raising ethical questions. Scientists have raised ethical questions after having successfully grown monkey embryos containing human cells for the first time. This paper is a dramatic demonstration of the ability of human pluripotent stem cells to be incorporated into the embryos of cynomolgus monkey when introduced into the monkey blastocytes. Oh man, this is getting a little too deep for me. Said Magdalena Zernicka Goetz, a developmental biologist at the California Institute of Technology. Zernicka Goetz and a team of other scientists performing an experiment that injected monkey embryos with human stem cells to watch them develop. The team observed the human and monkey cells divide and grow together in a dish, with 3 of the embryos surviving 19 days after initial fertilization. 19 days, Jesus Christ. The overall message is that every embryo contained human cells that proliferate and differentiate into a different extent. So apparently this will be used as models for testing drugs and growing organs for transplants. I guess we'll have a bunch of monkey men running around, monkey people. So, yeah, that's wild. 20 days, that's almost a month. We had some monkey people running around. Well, they weren't really running around. I guess they were just little embryos in a little petri dish or something. So, I don't know. Maybe down the line we'll have some hybrids running around. So there you go. But that was headlines for the night. The last little bit of headlines that you're ever going to get over here on Tarantula Stream TV. But let's check the chat over here before I bring my guest on the line. 168 RPM, let's do this. Yes, let's do this. Trial and Error Collective, the final countdown. Yes, Trial and Error Collective, I'm so sorry. It's the final countdown. 168 RPM, funny, it's fallen on my late March birthday in my lifetime. Yeah, the Easter thing is... that guy didn't know what he's talking about. In fact, I had to go to BitChute to find that video. In fact, almost all the conspiracy videos I've been watching have been from BitChute, and it's also another just absolutely awful streaming site. They don't have any real regulations. I don't think you can put like porn or anything on there, but ultimately it's not a good site. But you can put all your conspiracy videos on there. Honeycomb Viper, hello there, Honeycomb Viper. Trial and Error Collective, I like season finale instead. We want more. Well, thank you, Trial and Error Collective. Yes, it's season finale. I'll be back a different day, a different time, a different platform, different format, the whole shebang. But thank you for sticking around with old Samba over here. Eggs and Eyes, it's see you later, not goodbye. Yeah, there you go. Eggs and Eyes, thank you very much for being my producer. And yes, it's see you later, not goodbye. Henry Barajas, love the shirt. Well, you know what? I think I've left them on the line long enough. I think they're ready to start chatting over here. But thank you very much, Henry Barajas, for commenting on the shirt. But anyways, let's get into this juicy meat of the night over here. Hell yeah, meat of the night. So we're talking the Mandela Effect, conspiracies, all that good stuff. But I do have a guest over here on the line, a special guest, local screen printing or just printing in general extraordinaire over here. I'm glad to have him on the phone. Patrick Foley, are you there?
Hey, how's it going?
Oh, it's going. How you doing, my friend?
Good. I was enjoying the sonic soundscapes that permeate your holding line.
Yeah, I have. You're the first person to use this new little phone line I got over here, and I knew I had to put some kind of some hold music. I've never had a phone that had hold music. When I was younger, I never had a phone that had like a ringback tone when you called somebody. I never had a phone like that either. Mm-hmm. So this is as close as it gets. But I'm glad you enjoyed the hold music. So thank you very much.
Yeah.
What's that? What were you about to say?
Oh, I was asking if that was like a preset thing or some kind of cool foreboding thing that you made.
I made the hold music. It's a little. It kind of comes across a little funky on the phone. It doesn't quite have all the blips and the bloops. I don't really know. The phone provider I'm using for this thing is funky, but I don't know. But it's there. It's something. It's better than nothing, you know.
Yeah, that's great.
But anyway, so I wanted to bring you on the phone tonight to chat about Mandela Effect and conspiracies and whatnot, because your business, your local business, Cream Design and Printing, you have a new conspiracy line that I'm actually going to throw up on screen right now, so people can see and kind of enjoy it with me. Just give me a second to throw that up there. There we go. So you want to chat a little bit about your new little line you got over here for Cream?
Yeah, it's based around some conspiracy theories and conspiracy theories in general. And it started with me kind of just during the quarantine making different iconography for various conspiracy theories I knew about and other conspiracy theories I was reading about, and trying to find a way to put that iconography into something that wasn't completely celebratory, but was more, it's like, a little bit critical of conspiracy theories in general.
Sure.
But also in a way that, like, conspiracy theories really interest me, and they have for a long time. So just trying to kind of visually represent some of that, while also poking fun as well.
Sure. Yeah, and I'm looking at some of the images you got over here. You one that kind of caught my eye immediately when I saw that you guys were doing this was you have this like a poster. It says conspiracy theories and social media corporations to maximize advertising revenue, and you kind of have essentially like a little grab bag here of a whole mess load of different conspiracies. And I just, I love the design. I love the message behind it. The whole show of mine over here kind of likes to take a little deep dive into different conspiracies and weird stuff like that, but also kind of pick it apart a little bit. Especially especially now with the internet kind of spreading so much weird disinformation, it's nice to kind of be able to present something that's interesting, but also show kind of the foundational like truth behind why it's not real. So yes, I'm enjoying this whole thing over here. Now, out of all these conspiracies you've got on this poster, you got Pizzagate, Flat Earth, QAnon, COVID is a bioweapon. Now, are any of these do any of these hit close to home? Do you know anybody? You don't have to give any names. You don't have to dox anybody who've shared any of these ideas with you, or you've had any conversations with anybody who seems to believe any of this stuff?
Yeah, I mean, across the board, I think, to various degrees have had people with, different levels of belief in all those things.
Sure. Yeah, I think in general, I think in general I've known a few people who, at least in my time, and not really recently, like looking at this whole thing, I haven't really. I think I have like a few family members who are pretty deep into QAnon, unfortunately, like extended family. No one close to me. None of my parents are on the level. My brother, no one like that. But cousins and whatnot. I've seen people who they post stuff on Facebook all the time about QAnon. I have a few other friends, or I won't say friends. I know some people from high school who are anti-vax as well. So yeah, all these kind of conspiracies, I think in some way, I think we all know somebody who maybe, puts stock in a little bit more into one conspiracy over another, so. Yeah,
I think there's definitely like a blending of different, different pieces of conspiracy theories, and they kind of blend together into, kind of like talking to other people or hearing what their ideas are. I realize there's like different pieces of conspiracy theories kind of amalgamated into someone's own, personal conspiracy belief system.
Mm-hmm. Do you in particular have any conspiracy theories that you think are more legitimate or valued to you in your life?
I mean, I appreciate conspiracy theories as kind of a what if hypothesis for traditional science or other, like, maybe more rational lines of thinking. I definitely appreciated that when I was younger and in high school, and would, like, smoke a bunch of weed with our friends and watch Tucson cable access. And so I really appreciate kind of thinking about anything that might be challenging in overall narrative. So I appreciate kind of like conversationally thinking about how those things might be true. I think there's definitely not many conspiracy theories that I'd say I'm dogmatic about or like, believe them to be 100% truth. And that's usually where I come into conflict, or not conflict, but maybe sometimes, but like more where I think that conspiracy theories become problematic is when people are adopting those as kind of dogmatic theories that they're, excluding all their truths from.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I think so. I know that I had a friend of mine. I did an interview with them earlier on in the show last year. Who I initially brought them on because I remember back in the day when I was doing more touring as a musician, and they are a musician as well. We'd have a lot of conversations about specifically about like UFOs and reptilians. And he had read a handful of like David Icke books. I'm not sure you're familiar with David Icke. Yeah. So like, and David Icke is kind of a catch-all kind of dude where he's pulled, like UFO conspiracies as well as a New World Order, Illuminati conspiracy together. Everything's all tied into this one big conspiracy puzzle that he's kind of, claimed to put together.
Yeah.
But my friend, I had brought him on the air to have this conversation about conspiracy theories because I knew that he knew a lot about it, and he definitely has a line that he likes to draw with conspiracy theories where he kind of sees, at least in his life, stuff about UFOs or the moon landing was faked or stuff like that is more sort of to him and more acceptable in regards to what he can kind of dive into a little bit and not feel really bad about, because I was trying to get into the nitty gritty, and like on your line over here you have a QAnon on there, and that's kind of exploded over the past 3-4 years, at least while Trump was in office, and 2020 came about and it really hit a peak, and he was just not into really diving into something like QAnon or kind of the little like bits and pieces of QAnon with like adrenochrome and child trafficking and sacrifice, all that kind of stuff. He was not down to talk about that. I don't know if is that something. Do you feel kind of similarly to that, or how do you feel about kind of there's that dividing line between kind of fun conspiracy that kind of tickles your brain but isn't particularly destructive versus like that, like you were saying, that dogmatic QAnon style, like cult conspiracy movements?
Well, it's like I think it's like important to know what other people think, especially if it is something that's toxic, to like know what kind of ideas are spreading and even trying to figure out where those ideas come from to even try to kind of rationally talk to other people about them. But like specifically for even making art that visually represents them, like I wasn't going to try to dive too deep into like really toxic aspects of conspiracy theories to kind of put those in graphical form. I think, and that would be like kind of my dividing line, like using an icon as QAnon in something that's kind of poking fun at conspiratorial thinking by kind of using the same logic to put social media companies and conspiracy theorists all into one big conspiracy is kind of the limit I'd go. I wouldn't want to do like an expose on maybe some of the more toxic pieces of QAnon or Pizzagate or adrenochrome that have a lot of roots in like some really toxic anti-Semitic conspiracies, things like that I think kind of are, if people don't know the history of what they're talking about, can be tied into a lot of like really, really terrible conspiratorial thinking that's existed for a really long time. So I think I wouldn't want to try to propagate those specific kind of sub-beliefs, but I think it's important that people kind of dissect and know where ideas come from and what other ideas people are kind of putting forward to even know how to criticize them or talk to other people about them.
Yeah. No, I think that's important too, and that's something that my in-studio producer Totatoban, who oddly enough is not in the studio tonight, so sorry Totatoban, we had kind of had a conversation earlier on in the life of my show where she was a little hesitant with some of the topics I was initially thinking of covering, because I had some people message me earlier on in the life of the show saying, hey, yeah, you should cover, Jeffrey Epstein or something, or something, or Pizzagate or something like that. And I had essentially kind of put a stop in my head to really want to do that, because my fear wasn't really the people who are watching right now or anyone who would probably find who I know. It's I do put these episodes on YouTube. I do put these on social media. And it can be kind of a scary thing to think that someone's watching who maybe is on the precipice, on the cliff of maybe diving over into this kind of conspiracy, and then you don't really want to be behind promotion of this conspiracy theory. So I do feel like there is a dividing line, and I feel like maybe we're pretty close on that line.
Yeah, I think one of the negatives of that too is that I've heard a lot of things that get morphed into new conspiracy theories that I think come from pretty toxic ideas, but the people who are spreading them aren't really aware of the history of those ideas, or what they might kind of what kind of like alt-right trolls might be kind of like injecting into those conspiracy theories. So if people aren't made aware of that context, if they're already kind of imbibing conspiratorial thinking, it gets, if they're not aware of that, there might be, alt-right trolls basically kind of Trojan horsing other ideas and kind of persuasions into those general, I don't know, conspiracy forums and things like that. So I do hope there's somewhere where people who might be encountering conspiracy theories could also encounter like criticisms of those things too, and not just be kind of stuck in their own bubble.
Yeah, what you'd hope would be the case. You hope people wouldn't live necessarily in the echo chamber of the dogma of the hardcore, conspiratorial belief. But unfortunately, that's once you find that little niche conspiracy that really strikes a chord, it's hard to break out. But I don't see, looking at the line, looking at the images you have up on the site and on the shirt. I'm wearing the shirt right now. And as Henry Braha said, commented earlier, he said, "Nice shirt. I love this shirt. It's looking good on the stream."
Yeah, cool.
So there you go.
The Tucson alternative timeline.
Yes, the Tucson alternative timeline.
Yeah.
In fact, if you want to chat a little bit about, so we're the main subject for tonight is the Mandela Effect. So let's get into a little bit of the Mandela Effect.
Yeah, totally.
We went on a little bit of a conspiracy tangent, which is okay. But so for everyone on the stream who maybe doesn't know about the Mandela Effect, even though I feel like probably most people know somewhat of what the Mandela Effect is, essentially it's the idea that there's different a lot of times it comes down to pop culture, because that tends to be fairly universal, but it's false memories, or it's the idea that where we remember things that maybe didn't quite happen the way that we remember them happening, or it's just somewhere down the line something changed in our memory. Now, the realistic way of looking at it is, it's probably just a false memory. Maybe we were exposed to different pop culture items or images, and our memories kind of tied them all together, and we're just remembering things wrong. The human brain is a complicated and weird machine. But on the other side of that, the conspiracy kind of mind about it is that potentially these things are being changed on us, or there's something happened in the past or the future, or we're living in an alternative time and things just aren't quite the same as what we remember. So with this cream line over here, you've got this, I'm going to take your picture down for a second so I can show it on the stream. Are we living in an alternate timeline? And you've got all these different Mandela Effect kind of hits over here. You've got the Shazam movie, the rumored Sinbad movie that apparently doesn't exist. You've got Jiffy, which is not real either. It's just JIFF. Sex in the City, not Sex and the City. All these are it's kind of funny. The Mandela Effect, I think, strikes a lot of people as kind of goofy because a lot of it's just like various misspellings or kind of just like the names aren't quite right. It's mostly not particularly big, historical things aren't changed. It's just kind of spelling. So it's kind of, some of it's a little silly, but it's very interesting.
Totally.
Do you have any particular Mandela effects of in your own life?
I definitely, while learning about it, was like, oh, I definitely am part of the improper collective memory of, the Bernstein Bears, or, I definitely, those things ring true for me.
Mm-hmm. And that's funny. Trial and Error Collective over here on the comments said, "What do you think? What do y'all think is the most convincing Mandela effect?" I like the Bernstein Bears one, and that's honestly out of the the top Mandela effects. I have a little list here, but the top Mandela effects, that one, and obviously the Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s. Those are probably the top two, I would imagine. For a lot of people, at least the general populace of people who kind of know about the Mandela Effect. And again, for anyone who isn't quite familiar, the Bernstein Bears, the Mandela Effect is that most people remember the Bernstein Bears being spelled with an E-I-N and either being pronounced Berenstein or Bernstein. But not Berenstain, and that's something that I feel like it hits so many people in like it's not the funny bone. It's like whatever the hurt the painful version of the funny bone is like you hear Berenstain and it just doesn't hit. It doesn't hit right. There's something weird about it. I don't know. I'm definitely in that camp. I don't remember it being Berenstain. I don't remember that at all. This is honestly the thing that got me into looking at the Mandela Effect is Berenstain. It sounds like you two you're also in the camp of like Berenstain. It's just weird.
Yeah, I actually found I guess you'd call it a proof while recently watching Sex and the City. I think it's like the second or third episode. Stanford Blanche says the titular line as Sex in the City, and it's like I like rewinded it. It's like subtitled, and he says it.
Wow. Okay. Well, there you go.
And so that kind of like I was like, my partner Marissa was watching it, and she was actually the person who was like, "Hey, I think this guy just said it wrong," and I was like, "What?" And we both like freaked out over it. We're like, we discovered a proof.
There you go.
So, yeah.
That's honestly, that's the proofs now. I only have a few proofs over here in regards to Mandela effects, and one of them with the Berenstain Bears is there is a Reddit thread. In fact, if you just Google Berenstain Bears Mandela Effect Reddit thread, there's a Reddit thread that was posted, I believe about 3 years ago. Let me get back over here. About 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, I guess at this point, 2017, where a user had wrote and posted a picture. They said, "I'm currently packing for a move. My husband and I are heavily streamlining our VHS collection. I found my old Berenstain Bears VHS, and the official labels say both Steen and Stain. Stain appears on the front label, or I guess Stein appears on the side. Also, and of less consequence, the label my mom put on the plastic video cover reads Stein. I'm literally shaking. Anyone who knows how to test these images, please do so. They are totally unaltered." And the images they're legitimate for as far as I can tell. In fact, someone had found another copy of the VHS on eBay, and it had the same label on there. It said Bernstein. And so, I don't know. There's some people who say these little blips in the Matrix, these little glitches in the Matrix, are kind of that original reality that we might have lived through, kind of poking through, and kind of showing itself to us.
If it had both names, totally. If it had both names on the same tape too, that means it's kind of like in flux. It's kind of in between.
Yeah, it's like that mirror in the Matrix. It's you take a look at it, you poke it with your hand, and suddenly you're kind of a little bit on both sides a little bit. It's kind of the mirror is becoming you, and eventually you're just a big mirror, I guess, or something. I don't know. It's a Hollywood movie. There you go. But anyways, it's 9:30. It's the bottom of the hour. It's time to take my little break over here. I have a new what you're thinking about with the Spumoni video over here. Patrick, did you want to stay on the line and chat for a few minutes after the video, or do you have to go into that nice windy Tucson night?
Yeah, I'll stay and talk a little bit.
Okay, cool. Well, let me put you on hold, and I'll get you probably in about 3 minutes. All right.
Okay, cool.
There you go. That's Patrick Foley from Cream talking some Mandela effects and potentially alternative timeline when we get back. But let's get into my Spumoni video of the night. What you're thinking about with Spumoni with the return of Chip Time. So be excited for that. Original fans of the show, Chip Time. Here we go.
Hello, my cosmic cashews. Spumoni here, cruising around time and space, ready to answer your questions on anything. And I mean anything. Tonight's question comes from an old friend, Chip Time. She says,
Hey, Spumoni. This is Chip Time. I just wanted some advice. You know, with things changing so much again, with everyone getting vaccinated and whatnot, I just wanted a little advice. You know, a little advice on how to cope with it all. Change makes me a little nervous, and I could really use the wise words of the great Spumoni to help me settle into this new old way of doing things, you know? All right, man, you hang tight. Thanks, man. Chip Time.
Thank you for your question, Chip Time. I am very happy to hear that your species is getting vaccinated. It was rough for us Barnacle Nebulars to watch everyone on planet Earth sitting around watching Netflix and eating toilet paper all day for a whole year. I think the best thing for you to do now is to wipe the metaphorical sleepy dust from your eyes, crack a few knuckles, and reach out to your friends. Change is hard. I had a hard enough time when we ran out of regular protubian eggnog and had to switch to fat-free, yeesh. But change means progress, a new start, a fresh breath of air. It will take some time, but you'll be shaking your chimichangas with the best of them soon enough. Keep crunching, Chip Time.
Hell yeah, there we go. That was what you're thinking about with Spumoni answering a question from an old fan of the show, Chip Time. That was an old meme from the show, from season 1. I mean, it's kind of weird to think that there was a meme for the show, but yeah, Chip Time. There you go. So thank you very much. Hopefully, Chip Time, that answered your question. Hopefully you got some good advice from Spumoni, and hopefully you're able to kind of navigate this post-vaccinated world or partially post-vaccinated world. I don't know. I mean, I know most people probably on the air have probably got at least one of the shots, and so you know we're heading to a post-vaccine world. So we'll see what that looks like. But anyways, it is the bottom of the hour, 9:34 over here, and it's again open lines. I don't know why the open lines disappeared on you. There we go. 520-704-7820. Let me bring my guest back on the line. Let me bring Patrick back on the line. There you go. Patrick, you still there? Patrick,
yeah.
You there? Oh, there you go. I don't know if you fell into an alternate timeline or something over there.
Only half my body is there right now, so I'm between like the tape.
Well, clearly it was the top half, or we might be having a different conversation right now.
True.
Anyway, so yeah, we're back on the air over here. So yeah, with the Mandela Effect, one of the kind of big core beliefs of the Mandela Effect, I think, is potentially that we're living in an alternate timeline, that somewhere down the line we might have slipped into just a different time, one that was just ever so close to the original one, or at least what we imagine was the original one, that most things are the same, but these little Mandela Effect things are what signify that there was a change. Now, one of the reasons why they say that things we might have slipped was we go back to the 2012 conspiracy. Are you familiar with the Mayan calendar ending 2012 conspiracy?
Yeah.
There you go. So yeah, the 2012 conspiracy, it was supposed to be on December 21st of 2012. There was supposed to be some sort of cataclysm, some sort of world-changing, world-ending event based on the idea that the Mayans had said that the world or their calendar ended in 2012. But of course, from at least what we can tell, that didn't happen. Or at least that's what it appears to be. But there are some people that think that something did happen in 2012. Now, are you familiar with the idea that maybe potentially we did die in 2012, that something happened on December 21st, 2012. We died, but we kind of just, our consciousness just slipped into this new reality. And so everything post 2012 is just kind of this gamble of what we're going to find out, because we're living in a different timeline. Are you familiar with that idea?
No, I am not familiar with that idea, but that does put some of the pieces together.
Yeah, and I mean, again, it's all up to people's different feelings on their childhoods and whatnot, but a lot of people said post-2012, the world just didn't feel the same, that something just felt off looking back on it. And you know what? I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. I do remember specifically, when I got into the Mandela Effect, I specifically remember my 2012 when I started hearing that they were kind of getting tied together. I remember living in a small kind of like studio apartment, and I had spent a ton of time watching YouTube videos when they would still allow a lot more conspiracy videos on YouTube. Videos on 2012, on people making videos on the end of the world, saying that maybe even Nibiru or Planet X was going to come and smash into us, or something like that was going to happen. Yeah, I remember specifically 2012 being a very high anxiety year for me. I don't know if you remember your 2012 at all, but mine was very anxious.
I can't recall exactly, but yeah, that sounds about correct to me.
Yeah, there was something about that year, and again, maybe it's just, again, when you hear the world is ending, it just kind of gets you in your feelings a little bit. I mean, having said that, since that's happened, I've probably seen 20 or 30 different predictions that the world was going to end sometime soon, especially last year. I know that it kind of felt like the world was ending regardless of any kind of biblical story or anything, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, in terms of an alternate timeline, I mean, how likely do you see us actually being the case for us?
I don't particularly think that if we were in an alternate timeline, we'd also, I believe in the possibility there's just like a million different timelines, but I don't know how possible it'd be that we'd have such clear examples of the alternate timelines in our own. That seems a little far-fetched to me, but I mean, alternate timelines are something I think is possible.
Yeah, and that kind of reminds me of the, I think is it John McAfee, or it's one of those dudes who yeah, I think you might know what I'm talking about. It was one of the
I mean, I just got
it was like one of the antivirus founders of, it was either McAfee or one of the other ones, I don't remember.
I believe it's him, just because he's a very colorful character. I just got excited because you mentioned him, and I read about him.
Yeah, he's a wild dude, and it might not be McAfee. It might be Norton Antivirus, one of those dudes. I don't remember which one.
Okay.
But one of them apparently moved either to the Bahamas or Hawaii or something.
That's McAfee.
McAfee, yeah, and
McAfee.
John McAfee, yeah, and then he was interviewed, and he was like, "Check this out," and he took out a gun. And he showed the interviewer that it was loaded, and he put the gun to his head. He pulled the trigger, scaring the interviewer to death, and nothing happened. He pulled it again and again and again. Nothing happened. He kind of goes to the doorway, points it at the sand, pulls the trigger, and a shot fires off. The interviewer is just, freaked out, and is just like, what is this? Is this a joke? Is this a game? Like, how did you do that? And his response was something similar to like, because this is my reality, or something like that. I don't know, some weird shit like that.
Wow.
That the guy of an antivirus software would probably do that.
If we're all living in the John McAfee reality, that definitely rings true to me as well, for the level of absurdity that seems to keep appearing in our timeline.
Yeah, if he might be God. I don't know. All I know is that that particular interview, and I didn't do my due diligence, and I didn't pull it up before the show. So anyone on the air, if you're interested in the story, it was written a number of years ago, and it wasn't written by some like fly-by-night publication. I think it might have been like a Vice article or something.
Yeah, I believe that it was Vice, and I believe he was on the run for a murder charge, and I believe that they uploaded photos that still had geotagging information, and it led to like his arrest or something. Maybe I'm making it my own alternate timeline, but that is something I remember.
That might be the case, but regardless, I do know that I think he got caught or something, and he's probably facing prison time or something. And if that's the god of our universe, I don't know. It seems like they probably could have been able to get out of that little jam.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he's out of jail, which I think is probably another sign that he is somehow the god of this universe.
Well, there you go. Well, praise be to McAfee, I guess. I think John McAfee. I think that's his name. I don't know. I'll start my own religion with John McAfee. But anyways, it's about 15 minutes to 10 o'clock. Is there anything, any parting words you'd like to give to the audience about Mandela effects, alternate realities, conspiracy theories, anything like that?
I guess I had a question for you that I was curious about. I wanted to ask before the end of the show.
All right, go ahead.
But I was wondering if you experienced Tucson cable access, specifically 666's Money, or I think there's someone named Aggie Knox, or other people that had call-in shows that dealt with conspiracy theories. Now,
I've heard of these shows before, and growing up, I didn't have cable or anything for a long time, and so I definitely would have potentially been exposed to it. I know I spent many late nights cruising the TV dial at some point, and then eventually did get cable, and then I was I was up till like 1 a.m. just watching Eon Flux or weird MTV shit. Back in the 90s. But with cable access shows, I feel like I sort of missed the boat on those. I was more of an AM radio, talk radio fan for my conspiracy news and whatnot. Yeah, Coast to Coast AM. They're a favorite of mine, or they were a favorite of mine. This could turn into a whole conversation. I don't like George Norrie. I don't like where the show's gone so far. In fact, it's mostly a right-wing propaganda machine now in a lot of ways. But we won't get into that. But Art Bell, classic Coast to Coast. Oh boy, I could just talk all day about Art Bell. But I'm not. I feel like I missed the boat on public access. But it sounds like you said you were a fan of public access shows.
Oh yeah, and the call-in feature and just the all kinds of different conspiratorial thinking was top tier. And I would hang out across the street at the Cafe Quebec, which became Shot in the Dark. And I would see all those people leaving the Tucson Cable Access building, and they were kind of like weird conspiratorial gods that I would see on TV and call into, but then I'd see them kind of like hanging out in the parking lot all together, smoking cigarettes and stuff, and it was very strange.
Yeah, it's strange because for the most part, people who are, like you're saying, like conspiratorial gods or these public access TV people. I mean, they're just people. They're normal people too. And I'm sure if I saw, I don't know, George Norrie on the street, I'd be like, yeah, he's just a normal guy with like a thick mustache who. I think you should probably get off the air. But that's my personal opinion. Hopefully I didn't ruffle any feathers. Yeah. Anyone watching the show right now, if you were a big fan of Coast to Coast or something. I'll check out some of this public access stuff. I'm sure someone has put this stuff online somewhere, right?
Yeah, I could send you some links too, just because I have some Tucson cable access stuff saved.
Yeah, send me. You got my email. Send it after the show or something, or on your free time. I don't want to. You're not on the clock or anything. You don't need to send it to me super quick or anything. But anyways, Patrick Foley from Cream, thank you so much for chatting with old Samba over here, and I love your new line over here. I'm hoping everyone will check it out if you head over to Cream's website over here, or shop.creamforever.com. You can find the link to the line over here. It's called CULTspiracy's Ephemera from Alternate Realities, and you've just got a ton of great stuff over here. So hopefully people check it out, maybe buy a few things and sport some of this conspiracy wear.
Yeah.
There you go. All right.
Hell yeah. Well, thank you for having me on.
Oh, no problem. I'm sure we'll chat soon about some of this public access stuff.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye.
There we go. That was Patrick Foley from Cream Design in Print over here on Tarantula's Dream TV, talking about his new clothing line, or their new clothing line, and conspiracies and alternate timelines, and the whole shebang-a-bang. It's crazy. Honestly, alternate timelines just kind of blow my mind sometimes when I think about the idea that we could be living in a handful of different timelines. Who knows which one we're living in? In fact, the 2012 conspiracy is one of my favorites because I think it taps into that part of the brain where you were already very high. The anxiety was high that something was going to happen in 2012, and then the next thing you know, nothing happens, but maybe behind the scenes something did happen. But anyways, let's go to the phone lines again. We got another caller over here. Prisa Pizza Pie, are you there?
Whoa, Doc. Yes, hello.
Hello. Sorry, this is the final episode, so I figured, let's throw caution to the wind. Let's use your Christian name,
Yeah, true. Just let the veil down,
Yeah. Let people know that there's someone behind the name, Pizza Pie. I mean, you're not a food. I'm not talking to an actual pizza pie on the line.
It's true. Even though legend has it that I do transform into a pizza on a full moon, but yes, I'm in my human day.
I was waiting for some big reveal after the butt, and then it ended up just being, yeah. I'm just a human person. Anyways, Pizza Pie, how you doing tonight? Thanks for calling in.
Oh, good. Just wanted to say, congrats on another great season. Again, I'm glad you're not saying this is the end, because it's brought so much joy, not only to me, but so many people. You've been doing such an amazing job with the amount of research and care and segments and production. It's been amazing. So I'm excited to see what's next. And, if there's anything we can do, just let us know, because we want this to keep going. The people need it,
Well, I appreciate it. And honestly, all your kind words have meant so much to me. In fact, once I posted the story where I was kind of letting people know the nitty-gritty of the difficulty of navigating social media algorithms and trying to maintain, an audience, because essentially I do the show for myself, but I mean, I do it also to share these things with people and hopefully have a connection with people, and that's why I did it live, so maybe I could chat with people. That's why I got a phone number for the show, so people could call in like yourself. And I posted that, and I had a flurry of kind words from people who really seemed to enjoy the show, and especially last year. I think last year was a rough year for everybody, and having kind of a regular fun program to kind of tune into, I think it helped a lot of people, and it sounds like it helped you. So, and you helped me as well. You were a guest on the show like a handful of times. You were there when we interviewed Becky Gidison from the Tucson Ghost Society. You were there. Looks like I got another call. I might have interrupted Pizza Pie. Caller, you're on the air. Hello, who's calling?
I will miss your show.
Oh, this is. Hold on one second. Let me try something over here. It's probably not going to work. Never mind. I'm not going to try it. I was going to try to patch you in with the other caller, but every time this happens, it always hangs up on the other person. So instead, thank you so much for calling. Oh, they hung. Oh, did Pizza Pie hang up? Who's still on the line right now?
Lars and Fam.
Oh, okay, Lars and Fam. Well, thank you so much, Lars and Fam, for tuning in. I know that you've also been fans of the show since the very beginning. It's meant a lot to me.
Hopefully you bring it back.
It'll come back. It'll come back someday. It'll be a different form, a different format. Everything will be changed. Everything has to change. You know, if you don't change, you feel stagnant, and then eventually it's like, why even be in space at all? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, change is good.
Change is good. Well, thank you so much for calling and being a fan of the show. I appreciate all the love and support from everybody.
We'll keep our ears to the radio.
All right. Oh, yeah. Keep your ears to the radio, everybody. 99.1 FM, Downtown Radio, if you live in town, or downtownradio.org. Thanks for letting me do that free plug over there, Lars.
Oh, all right. Love you. Goodbye.
Love you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. There we go. All right. I'm going to try calling Pizza Pie back because I was right in the middle of a nice little conversation with Pizza Pie over here. Let me see if I can get her back on the line. That's the one thing about the phone line over here using Skype. It only lets you connect with one person at a time. But that's why I got a new phone line and everything over here. Pizza Pie, are you back on the line?
Oh, yes, that's me.
Sorry about that. I had another person call in, and then Skype. You remember all this. Anytime Agent J called in, and then you were on the phone, and then I hung up on everybody. Skype is an awful service. I'm glad they never sponsored me or anything.
Yeah, it's true. But sometimes it was fun because one time I was like on hold with Agent J, and we thought we were live, but we weren't. We were just chatting away. It was fun.
Yeah, no, those are those little golden moments, or like I was saying, when you were on the phone with Becky Gaitis and I had you both on hold, but you didn't end up like chatting with each other. You just kind of stayed silent while you both were on hold together.
Well, she didn't know that I was also on hold. And I felt weird, so I just sat there. It was a funny one. But, I was just like, well, maybe if I don't make a noise, she won't know I'm here.
Maybe. And apparently she didn't, because she didn't try talking to you or anything. Or I don't know. It's a good thing she didn't, like, say something mean or something. Or just, like, fart on the phone. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would have been bad.
Yeah, nothing.
Well, while I got you here on the phone, let me just ask you real quick before you go. What do you think of the Mandela Effect and potentially alternate realities, and maybe the potential that we're living in one right now because of our untimely deaths back in 2012?
I'm all about it. I don't know exactly if it's just the 2012 thing, because one thing I really love, kind of more on the paranormal side, I listen to a lot of podcasts, like the Spooks podcast, and there's some really good, interesting stories that you see of, like, two people being somewhere at the same time, and yet somehow they saw two completely different things,
Mm-hmm.
or just like someone, like there was a great story of someone going into a bar, and, it's just like a total time loop, and they go through this whole, you hear these kind of stories all the time where it's like, either something like super, super far out, or just like little things where I was, I don't know, like the two stories don't exactly match up, and it seems like two people are at the same place but in a different time,
Yeah. No, I feel like that happens a lot for some reason. I feel like I hear those stories all the time.
Totally, yeah. Sometimes it's, whatever you want to call it, like a little blip in the matrix, or, maybe someone had their watch wrong or something. I don't know. No.
It's either one of those things. It's either a glitch in the matrix, or you set your watch for like 5 minutes ahead thinking it was going to help you be early to places, but it ended up just making you late all the time, or you just forget and you always think you're late. It was either one of those two things. There's nothing in between.
Exactly, yeah. So,
well, there you go. Well, Pizza Pie, it's 9:55, and guess what? You're the last caller of Tarantula's Dream TV.
Full circle. I love it. First caller and last caller. But let's not say last, because we're going to hold you to the fact that this will continue in some form. Hell yeah. Well, I'm gonna be back. I just need to retool some stuff. It's a weird world out there, and you know how it is trying to run a social media empire, or like sharing stuff with people. Sometimes you gotta retool some things, or you gotta figure stuff out. So you know what I'm talking about. Oh, totally. Yeah. Just, as speaking on behalf of the callers here, just remember that you're doing great. Don't let the algorithms get you down. As we've discussed on the show, the algorithms are all meant to get you funky, whether it's, feeling down or just, getting you into a wormhole of conspiracy theories. So, we're all here to support you, and we can't wait to see what's next.
All right. Well, thank you, Pizza Pie. I'll be coming back, and I appreciate the support. And again, remember, watch the skis, and we'll talk soon.
Stay tuned to the skis.
All right. Bye. There you go. That was Pizza Pie, the very first and the very last caller for Tarantula's Dream TV over here on Instagram. Maybe someday we'll be back, but not on Instagram. Everyone, I think, on the air is probably fairly familiar with my problems with Instagram and the streaming, the crap I have to go through to get this stream on the air. And I've done it for over a year, and it hasn't really changed for the better. Other than the time limit has gotten better, but other than that, not so much. But before I sign off over here, let me check some of these comments before I go. Has anyone heard of the small convention that was formed because of the Mandela Effect? Eggs and Eyes, are you still in the air? What is this convention you're talking about? Oh, wait, Trial and Error. Yes, in that episode of How To with John Wilson. Oh, okay, you were telling me about that earlier. I still haven't seen that episode, so I'll have to check that out. Trial and Error character. What do y'all think is most convincing? Oh, I already read that. The cat mirror one is weird. I'm literally shaking. Yes, she was literally shaking after finding out the Bernstein Bears videotape. Yes. Trial and Error Collective. Wise words, Spumoni. Thank you. Yes, there'll be more Spumoni videos, too. I'll probably be making more videos. Just regular videos. I'll be not an influencer, content creator. Oh man, if Agent J was here now, he'd flip his wig, or he'd flip their wig. I don't know. They weren't a big fan of that. Eggs and Eyes, ancient memes from seasons past. Yes, Chip Time, love me some Chip Time, and Trial and Error Collective with Tucson cable access rules, or public access. I mean, yes, everything I've seen, I love it, and I'm looking forward. Maybe Patrick from Cream will send me some links to some cool shows. I don't know. We'll find out. But anyways, that is the end of the show for this evening, for this month, for this week, whatever you want to think of it. I'll be back some other time, but I'm definitely coming back on Monday to Downtown Radio, 99.1 FM Downtown Radio, for Tarantula's Dream Radio. That's still going, and I'm actually trying to work on potentially making another program for Downtown Radio. We'll see what happens. I'm waiting for another spot to open up for me over at the station, but we'll find out. But anyway, Carne and Queso sending. Oh, there you go, Carne and Queso. Patrick, there you are. Sending now. Thank you very much. And also thank you again for chatting with Samba over here and taking time out of your night to talk the CULTspiracy line over here on Tarantula's Dream TV. But anyways, everyone, please stay safe out there. Wear a mask. Social distance if you can. Get your vaccines if you hadn't, and if you can. And remember, it is a weird, weird world. I will be back. Take care. And I'm going to do something I wanted to do ever since I upgraded my studio. Take care.